Notification volume 0%.
Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and Kream, hi, yes. And I'm bringing you today... Hey, get off my... Transformers Studio Series 80... Kream, your butt is like facing the camera. Get away. Studio Series 86. Leader Class Sludge. Here he is in all of his sludgy Dinobot glory. Yes, I love you too, little guy. Yes. Ah. Anyway, here he is. He is a long-necked dinosaur. I think he's either a Plagiosaurus or a Brontosaurus, but I'm not sure on the Plagiosaurus bit. I'm more sure on the Brontosaurus bit. All right, Kream, you are super loving today. Yes, you are. So, we'll talk about his molding, what he looks like, and we'll discuss other parts of him, like some weird little flaws I found in the actual Kream. You are being super distracting today. And some actual flaws that I found in the figure that I'm just curious on what in the world is going on with them. Let me put this gun back in here. So we've got a few things to talk about today, and one of those is what this gun's doing right here. So this gun that I'm trying to put back in to play, where did it go? There it is well, it's kind of annoying because it doesn't want to ever stay in its little spots. And there it goes. Cool. Now it's in there, and it's probably going to stay in there for maybe a little bit in this video, but I'm going to be moving this guy around a lot, and it's going to fall out again. And that's one of the negatives I don't like about this is those feet. They don't allow for great clearance when he's in dinosaur mode. There's an obvious place where they could have gone, like flip him up. If the feet had actually been made a little thinner and been made to fold forwards, then they could fit into this giant negative zone that exists between the front feet and on either side of this robot. There's this huge spot, just massive, that these feet could have gone into, but they can't because they're too wide. They can't fold into there, and it's a missed opportunity. I don't understand why that was something they didn't consider. It definitely could have worked, and it wouldn't have taken much more tooling to make it happen. I think it was a oversight, in my opinion. Unless I've got him horribly mistransformed, which I don't think I do, because I've tried to put the feet there. Then again, I could have been doing it wrong. I mean, it isn't like I looked at the instruction manual before doing this. So, the other thing I'd like to mention, because, you just get the negative stuff out of the way fast. All right, so I've got little G1 Sludge right here. Look at it. Look at that adorable G1 Sludge. Yeah. Oh, you nuzzled look at that. You can nuzzle the G1 Sludge's head. Yeah. Oh, Sludge nuzzle Sludge's head, and then bang, knocks the head down, and boom, his head falls off too. Was that an Easter egg? Designers of the Studio Series 86 Sludge, did you design the head to just fall forwards like that? Like, the slightest bit of pressure makes the head fall forward. It doesn't. I don't get it. I thought it was a major flaw with this guy. I always disliked the fact that this head would just randomly fall forwards. I appreciate that they gave this one some articulation points, because his neck does have a ratchet joint, which is cool, and his head can move up and down. It cannot swivel, which is a missed opportunity in my opinion. Like, why didn't you put a swivel there? You gave a bicep swivel to his dinky little front feet, but you didn't give a neck swivel to his head so that he could look left or right. And now his head fell forward again. All right, let's push those panels forward and then push that head into place. I'm moving him around a lot, so all these little connector bits that are very stupid tiny are all coming undone. And his head won't stay. Thank you. Oh yeah, you had to click his neck up a bit to stop his head from falling forwards. Now, the back panel of this thing, his entire back is actually like two halves, two hemispheres going on right here. And it's really annoying in that none of the connectors on his back, on his wings that become his entire like mid back for the brontosaurus, and then these bits that unfold from his feet that become the rest of the back, including the big old vents on the middle of him. Uh, the connectors between the two of them are just super small and not really great. And I just, we're gonna move G1 Bronto over here. Sludge, G1 Sludge, just live over here for a minute. There you go. I just don't get it. I don't understand why they couldn't have done something more with that. It's other than those flaws I've mentioned, there's one more that I'd like to talk about before really getting into this guy and talking about the good things. We're getting all the bad things out of the way. So one bad thing is the neck has got a terrible connector point. Another bad thing is this back panel, all these back pieces that all connect together have terrible connector points. And then another flaw of him is that these feet don't... Oh, I lost the gun again. The gun doesn't fit into the feet. It doesn't stay in there. They could have used the round siege ports and pegs because they've proven to work multiple times in many different things, but they didn't want to do it here for some reason. And I'm just going to set the gun off to the side. I'm not even going to bother doing that right now during the video. So yeah, that's another problem with this thing, is these feet don't fold into this negative zone here. It's obvious that they could have. They could have just folded forwards and gone in, but this side of the foot is too wide to allow that to happen. And that is just upsetting. That is just upsetting. And finally, I've got his back feet, his arms in robot mode, twisted the wrong way. So you can spin them on the bicep swivel so that they're facing the correct way. But there's this big negative zone here in the foot area. And I just don't get it. Like, this entire foot folds backwards and you got this huge negative zone. It isn't pretty. It's not pretty at all. And because of the way the feet are shaped, the only way that his robot feet, because of the way they work and they're not folded into the negative zone, they are too tall, or at least too long. So they don't give enough clearance on the ground. And that means that if you want this guy to not be sitting on these feet and causing paint damage there, you've got to spin, you've got to have these legs as stretched out as possible. But they didn't design them to be like that. They designed them to actually crunch in a bit to look more like a dinosaur's feet that are, it's a big, heavy dinosaur. So they're meant to go back just a bit and crunch up just a little bit. But they can't do that because they're sitting on the feet of the robot mode. Just up, and the head fell off again. I just don't get it. So what I do is, even though it's wrong, I spin these biceps 180 degrees, and I put the single claw forward and put the double claws in the back. And that makes it better. That works out a lot better. So that's a mistransformation, but it does handle some of the problems, at least in the looks department, because I hate negative zones. I don't agree with them. I don't like them. You can take me to the bank on that one. I don't like negative zones in my Transformers. Don't give me anything like that. Find a way to fill it. And, because the thing about a Transformer is it's got to utilize all the space possible. The best transformations are the ones that use every single millimeter of space they possibly can to make everything fit and work together. And it is a shame that this guy didn't have that. Now on to the positives about him. Positives are, he's got an articulated neck, he's got an articulated head, he's got articulated feet that have bicep swivels, and articulated shoulders on his front feet so he can pick his foot up and wave at you. Hello. And he has, I have to say, that's such a weird thing that his feet have bicep swivels, but that is kind of neat. It's adorable. We come over here to his back legs. His back legs have got ratcheted because, they're his arms. And then we have the knees, and he's also got the bicep swivel. And that's about it for articulation. The tail doesn't tail, it doesn't have any sort of articulation to it. Instead, it just likes to slightly come apart because, once again, even the tail doesn't have any strong connector points. I mean, did they try to make this as G1 as possible, even down to the fact that it likes to fall apart? Because, G1 Sludge here, he falls apart all the time. Look at that. His tails are all falling apart. He likes to come undone. And I guess that they looked at this guy and went, well, the people want G1. They want it to just come undone at the drop of a hat because that's what they liked about G1, right? Like, no, no, no. We liked the coolness of it. We didn't like how loose the toys got and how nothing was sturdily connected. There, push that head back in. So that's my talks on articulation. And that, let's talk about siege ports. He's got 2 siege ports and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 siege pegs. I don't know why his arms have pegs on them, siege pegs, but they do. So he's got 4 siege pegs and 2 siege ports in Dino mode. I mean, if you count the gun when it's underneath it, then that's another siege port, but and another siege peg. I don't count the gun. Let's get into the molding and sculpt work now. The sculpt work and molding on this thing is where it really flourishes, where it shows. I mean, the articulation was good, but the molding and sculpt work on this guy is excellent. I love his individually sculpted teeth, and when you close the mouth, it feels like the teeth intersect with each other to make like a zippered look. So, and I'm really hoping they painted those chrome, because I'm imagining a nice chrome smile on this guy. I think that would be cool. And I think it works. I like the individual teeth. It's blast effect compatible. Let's see if we got a blast effect over here to showcase. I did have one earlier. I just don't know what I did with it. Oh, there it is. It is blast effect compatible. I've got Jetfire's laser blast effect here. And we can shove that in a little spot inside of his mouth. And now he can shoot laser beams. He can shoot freaking lasers from his freaking mouth. So that's pretty cool. The molding on the neck is top notch. I love the fact like they're continuing with the theme and the idea that this was designed by robots who had no idea what dinosaurs really looked like except for their overall skeleton and what humans thought they looked like. And so it's got a mixture of, robot things and dinosaur things. So you can feel here on the sides of his body where it feels like, Ratchet and Wheeljack tried, because I believe they're the two that made it in G1, they tried to put scales and stuff on him, but they didn't understand what in the world scales really look like. So they just kind of threw stuff together. And it feels like that. It feels like, somebody who had no idea much about dinosaurs built this, and it works. It works out really well, and I love the story behind it. I love the giant vents on his back, and, you come down here to his back of his tail, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 spines that run down from the big vents on his back, and little Sludge here. Little Sludge gets 1 and 2. Little Sludge gets 2 spines. This guy gets more than that. Yes, he is more than twice the Dinobot of Mini Sludge. I'm just going to call him Mini Sludge now. And I have to say, I've been looking forward to this guy for a while. I always liked Sludge. Sludge and Snarl are my 2 favorite Dinobots, and I'm really hoping that they give us a Snarl. They better give us a Snarl. I really want a Snarl. And Sludge here is they've gone out of their way with the molding. It's quite excellent. I love every bit of this guy. This guy's got, the only thing he's missing is like some battle scars, like chunks of his armor missing or something, just because he likes to be a rough transformer. He's a tank, and you can't get more tanky than this without treads. He is a bruiser, and you can feel that. He's the heaviest of the Dinobots so far. He is the longest of the Dinobots in his dinosaur mode. He's also the largest of the Dinobots in his dinosaur mode. And I heard one YouTuber talk about maybe this should have been a commander class so that they could have had the budget to do a little extra on it. And I'm inclined to believe, to agree with him on that one. Maybe this should have been the first Studio Series commander class. It would have worked out better with a little extra budget because Sludge was a larger transformer, and I think that with that extra budget, they could have fixed the problems that I pointed out. But here's a little cliff jumper from Earthrise, little ER cliff jumper. Got him here with he's as long as Sludge is wide, and Sludge is 40 Lego studs long, from tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. Like I said, he is a big boy. Cliff jumper here can just drive and drive and drive and drive and drive and finally make it to the other side of him. Eh. I think, yeah. His freaking front foot could just, yeah. Sludge's front foot in Dino mode is as long as Cliff Jumper's hood is wide. You just get a nice foot slam going on that. But anyway, guys, I've talked on along this long enough. Out of the robot mode and the transformation in the Dino mode here, combining those three together, I would give him an overall rating of a 7.5 out of 10. I do think that there's problems, but he more than makes up for it. He does have a transformation that gets a little annoying. It isn't as nice and simple as I would like it to be, but at the same time, simple in the sense of intuitive. It's not as intuitive as I would like it to be, and there's some problems with it. But we discussed that in the Blindformers episode, and we discussed my ideas on the robot mode in the robot mode episode. But overall rating for Sludge here is 7.5. He's an excellent figure. He's a great addition to any um, chug scale diorama that you're doing. I appreciate actually having a third member for the Dinobot team to make them an actual team. Now I can take them and start posing them together all over the place, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And yep, I've talked on long enough. I hope that you've enjoyed the show, and please tune in next Prime where we will be going over some Legos. I have already designed the next Lego module. Well, I've designed the bottom of it, and I'll teach you how to build it next time on Blind Prime. Bye bye for now.